Three. Hello, everybody. How you doing? My name is Stanley, and I'm here with the Sleek Pastor. Welcome to what I call the 15 minutes with Stan. Welcome, Sleek Pastor.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Stan. It's a pleasure to be here.
Wonderful. Tell me something, Sleek Pastor.
Yeah.
Who is the Sleek Pastor?
Well, the Slick Pastor. Well, my name is Nigel Maritinho. That's my government name. I'm a comedian, inspirational speaker, and MC slash digital marketer and slash also electronic engineer. And I'm also a proud child of God. So yeah, basically, I think that's all there is to me.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Tell me, why do you do what you do? What inspires you to do what you do?
Well, I think from a very early age, I've always had a love for media, for entertainment, and for just sharing ideas with people. So for as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to do something to do with TV or radio, either it's music or performance and stuff like that. So really, it's just passion. I'm just following, what my heart tells me to do. So that's why I do what I do. And also, I think partly because of my faith and my background, I feel like I have an obligation to make a positive contribution to society through the gifts that I have. So in a certain way, I feel like what I do is in part a way to fulfill my purpose. So yeah, basically, that's why I'm into what I'm into.
Okay, that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
You see, when I look at it very carefully, like when we check out your YouTube channel,
Yeah.
what we are going to see is that maybe the first things we see is comic,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
comic,
yeah.
and then later on as we go in, we see inspirational stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I would like to wonder what is it that drives the comic and the inspiration? What is the thing that drives this thing?
Well, I think basically the work that I do and my YouTube channels and my Facebook and stuff is really just a representation of my personality. That's who I am as a person. I'm somebody who really loves, just joking around, making people laugh, sharing funny stories, and throwing all these crazy ideas around. But I'm also someone who strongly believes in encouragement and edification. I always believe that every time you have a conversation with someone, it should either entertain you or it should build you. It should either relieve you of any stress that you may be having, or it should at least equip your mind to become a better person. So that's why you will constantly see that mix of humor, entertainment, and also inspiration and that kind of thing. So basically, my channels, my platforms, and my work are quite a very true reflection of who I am as an individual. So it's not really like something that I sit down and I calculate and I say, okay, let me make a skit or let me try this because it's trending. But really, I'm just being me. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's really interesting. See, when I look at the pastor character,
yeah,
and I look at the one who speaks inspiration,
yeah,
it's like there's like two different worlds right there.
yeah, yeah,
Like when you look at the kind of outfit the pastor is wearing,
yeah.
I like wonder, what inspires this? Because when you do motivation,
Yeah.
it's on another level. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
When you do comic pastor, when you do like the pastor part of it, it's I mean, what is it that puts that big gap between the two?
It's pretty hard to really try and be able to pick out where the line is drawn, and some of these things really they happen spontaneously as you are doing something, just like when I started doing comedy. I think the first 4 or 5 episodes, 4 or 5 skits that I did of my comedy, I didn't have that suit. And then somewhere along the way, what actually happened was there was a script we had written, because when I started, we were doing what we called Comic Fridays. So every Friday there would be a comedy video. So the script for that week to me was not really impressive. I'm the one who had come up with it, but I wasn't really satisfied. So I was like, okay, so let me just to try and make up for the skit. the scripts that might not be so good. Let me try to find something else that's funny. So there was this friend of mine who was doing my filming at the time. We both go to the same church. So at one point we had what we call an old school service at our youth group. So he had brought that suit. So I asked for it and I said, okay, let's use this in the script. So just to probably spice things up a bit, because I really don't think the skit is going to be that funny. So that's how then, and it worked, because people were like, oh my God, that suit. Everybody was talking about that suit. And it became like a trademark. So really, some of these things, they just happen naturally as you follow the path, as you go. That's when you see, okay, at this point, I need to do this. And so most of it is not pre-calculated. It's not premeditated, yeah.
Okay, that's great. So tell me something.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that you have encountered in this whole thing? Have you encountered any challenges at all?
Well, yeah, but I have. Especially when I was still at school, I think one of the challenges I had was trying to balance school and what my passion was, or my passion is, because especially in my final year, it was so demanding. You have a project to do and you have this to do, and you only have 24 hours each day. But I didn't want either part of me to suffer, either my academics or my passion and what I believed was going to be my career. So balancing the time was a bit of a challenge at first. But mostly, yeah. So, when I was past that, all the other things that I face here and there, I do not even count them as challenges. I think it's because when I look at the few difficulties that I have to overcome, and I also look at the love that I have for what I do, it's overwhelming. So it really, just covers for all of that, to a point where I actually just overlook and go. So it would seem like, and it would actually feel like, I don't really have any, challenges. Let's say. Yeah.
So that simply makes my next question irrelevant.
But just throw it. Just throw it.
Because the other question I was going to ask you is, because I really wanted to know the challenge you encountered. Anyway, you mentioned a challenge.
Yeah.
So the next thing was going to be like, how did you overcome the challenge? How did you overcome the challenge?
I think for me, like I said, the most important thing has always been my passion, how much I love, what I do. So at the end of the day, it's always going to be the reason. Because I don't think there is any specific formula for overcoming the things that we face in life. But of course, there are like general principles like perseverance, persistence, and patience, and hard work, commitment, and focus, and all of those things. But to really tailor, design a solution for every single problem, sometimes you figure your way out as the things come. But the guiding or the driving force has to be your background and what's backing you up. And for me, it was just my desire. Like, how much I love, making content and sharing it with people would always force me, even sometimes when my schedule seemed really tight, would always force me to be at school from 8 to 3 or 4. And then between 3 and 5, I put some guys together. Sometimes I would actually do my filming at school. I would improvise and just say, guys, I have a script, a very short one. Can we meet here and film something? And then we would do it in like 2 hours, and I'll do the editing myself, and then I would post. But foundationally, what has always helped me is my focus and my love for what I do. So I think always keeping that in mind, that you believe in what you're doing and you love what you're doing, is key to how you overcome, whether no matter what the challenges may be, because they differ. For some people it's rejection, for some people it's criticism, for some people it's a lack of finances or resources and stuff like that. But when you really love and you're passionate about what you're doing, those things become irrelevant. So I overcame through sticking to what I believed and through sticking to what I love.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. You're so profound in your responses. They're really powerful. I think I'm gonna take a clip from what you say. It's really beautiful. Tell me something. What did you learn, from the challenges And you overcame the challenges.
Yeah.
But what did you learn from the challenges? Was it a learning ground?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think one of the most important things I learned is to take one day at a time. One day at a time. Because every time you are setting out to do something that you believe in, and you are setting out to do something you feel is important or is big, you have this big, great idea in your mind. I'm gonna make content every day, and I'm gonna have 100,000 views, and I'm gonna travel to this country, and you want all of that to happen at once.
Yeah.
Because you feel like I'm talented, the world should know me, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it really takes you a very long time to like blow up. So I really learned to be patient, to take one day at a time, to do what you can with what you have where you are, and then just follow the flow and just let things come. Not to try and over congest yourself with trying to really squeeze the whole process into one day, and then trying to become everything you believe you're destined to be in a single moment, but just allowing each day to give you what it can, and also you on your part giving what you can to the day, and waiting to see what happens next. So I think that has been one of my biggest lessons, to take every single day as it comes.
Okay.
Just that patience. Yeah.
That's great. Is there a moment you can reflect on and
Yeah.
you say, "Oh, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that."
Wow. Well, wow. It's really hard to pick a moment like that. But oh yeah. Actually, yeah, there is. But you know how we look at things from a faith perspective. Every time you look back, you see that there's a reason why things happened the way they did, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And you can always find positive reasons as to why things happened that way. So sometimes when you look at it, you don't look at it in regret or as a mistake. But there was a point when I decided to start working professionally, right? Soon after I finished school, and I was like, okay, so let me go and work. I was actually in a foreign country. I was in Dubai. I was working there, but I was so unhappy because I was just killing my dream. I was killing my passion. I was killing my gifts and my talent. So I tried to force myself to be like, no, I'm okay, I'm happy, I'm still gonna do it sometime in the future. This is time to, put some money together and stuff like that. I was basically living a lie. So when I look at it now, and I look at what's going on in my life and the doors that God has opened through my gifts and the things that are happening in my career, when I look at it, that was a wrong move that I made. But also it was in that process that I learned quite a lot of valuable lessons, which I'm actually applying even now when I'm following my own path. So overly speaking, it may not really have been like such a major mistake.
Yeah.
But had I maybe persisted on that path and stuck to it for the rest of my life, that would have been such a big mistake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess, like they say, all things work together for good.
Amen.
For those who love the Lord and according to His purposes.
Beautiful,
Wow,
yeah.
wow. Okay, that's really wonderful.
Yeah.
So tell me, of the work that you have done
Yeah.
along your path of passion,
Yeah.
what do you consider your best work?
Wow. Well, not okay. There's two sides to that question. They can be sometimes my best work or my favorite. So they sometimes it may not necessarily be my best in terms of maybe the creativity or even the reach and how people received it and stuff like that. But it may be my favorite because of the thoughts and the emotions that are associated with that particular work. But for me, when it comes to the comedy side, I think there's a skit that we did in 2000 and I think it was 18 when we were having elections. Yeah. So just some weeks before the elections, there's a video that we did just encouraging people to go out and vote. To me, it's probably my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably my best. And for the inspirational videos, I think my favorite is the one I did in Domboshawa. It was one of my first. I think it was my third inspirational video, when I really like started like doing them consistently. Where I was talking about learning to appreciate yourself and looking back at how much you have overcome to be where you are, being content and not looking at what the next person is doing and not measuring how successful you are based on how better you're doing than the person who's next to you. It's a message that I really strongly believe in and something that I really stand for. So the reason why I love it is like I felt like in that video I was really able to articulate it well. Sometimes you have great ideas, you have great thoughts, but when it comes to the moment of actually expressing it, you feel that you didn't do justice to the idea you had. But in that particular case, I felt like I really let out everything that was in my heart, and the video was received quite well. It opened so many doors, made so many connections, and yeah, so I think those are my two best videos.
Yeah, you picked exactly one of the inspirational one.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I love that one.
Thank you
It was
so
really
much.
it was really beautiful, and you have actually responded to a question I was going to ask you next. So I'm not going to ask you that question again.
Okay.
But just going back to that inspirational video. Actually, when I listen to it, it reminds me of that scripture that's in should be Hebrews 13 verse 5 that says, let your conversations be without covetousness.
Okay, yeah.
And it says, be content.
Yeah, yeah.
And then afterwards it says, for God will never leave you nor forsake you.
Yeah,
exactly. Like I know other versions of the Bible would like to say, do not be lovers of money, but that's not the concept. That's not the idea.
Yeah.
When it says don't be covetousness, it's simply saying don't be looking at the person in front of you. Don't look at the person behind you. Don't look at the person next to you. Just focus on God. As you focus on God, you then be able to walk into that place where God initially intended you to be.
Exactly.
Because when you look at it very carefully, we have people that are depressed because they look at someone and think that person is succeeding, that person is prospering.
Exactly,
but the sad thing is, the other person could also be looking at them, and they're thinking that person is succeeding, that person is prospering.
Yeah.
But you are both depressed over each other because you are focusing on the wrong thing.
Exactly.
The focus should be on God. So I really love that. I really love that video.
Thank you.
I mean, that's what it ministered to me as I watched it.
Yeah.
So wow, that's a really, really powerful video. It's amazing because in as much as you may not have put it that way, but that's how it came out.
Wow.
That's how it came out to me.
That's what I love also about inspiration, because it means a lot of things to a lot of different people. Because sometimes I put out a video and
what would you like people to know you for?
Powerful question. Well, I think I would really like to be remembered for being a man who, first of all, who was passionate about knowing God and letting people know about God. That's all I'm about. Knowing God and making Him know. Just how much God loves us. I would like people to know me for spreading love and light. That's what I would really like people to know me for. Just spreading love and light, making life lighter. Because I know a lot of people, like you said, people are depressed, people are stressed, people are going through a lot of things in this day and age. So I would like to be known for being that one person who was there, trying to make life lighter for everybody that he came across. So I would like to be remembered for spreading love and light.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, the Slick Pastor, Nigel. It was really wonderful having Nigel on the set and sharing such profound wisdom and revelation. The story of his life is really, really amazing, and all the things that he shared with us, I'm sure they will revolutionize our lives and change our way of thinking and put us on course and become the people that God created us to be. Amen.
Man. Thank you.